New video of a group of migrants that were rescued by a celebrity cruise ship Monday evening off the coast of the Florida Keys.
We're heading back to Fort Lauderdale. We're supposed to get there tomorrow, early in the morning. Around 5 p.m. or so, they announced that we are just going to get some people on board. They were on a boat.
Andres Brender, a fellow reporter with our sister station, Telemundo 48 in the Bay Area, was on that cruise and took the video.
They got into the ship. They got a health check. They're all healthy. They didn't say what nationality they are.
I have to divert police resources from responding to calls, investigating crimes, from patrolling, to respond to the migrant calls, to deal with that. And what we're finding now is because they're so overwhelmed, there's no time frame when Border Patrol is going to arrive.
Monroe County Sheriff Rick Ramsey calling this a mass migration.
You know, we've been experiencing in the past, we'd have a migrant landing every week or two, but several months ago, our landings started turning into 2-3 landings a day. We're seeing yesterday we had 10 migrant landings.
Dry Tortugas National Park says it was forced to close down so that police and medical personnel could evaluate and provide transport to Key West for about 300 migrants who have arrived there over the past couple of days.
There doesn't seem to be a plan from the federal government. If asked, I'm sure they tell you they got a plan, but we'd like to see it. And if they have it, it doesn't seem to be working on this environment.
I left my house at 4:45 to come up here. Between 4:45 and 5:55, I had 3 landings. I actually did a traffic stop on the way up on a car, 114 miles an hour. Crazy. Get out of the car. I'm in the middle of nowhere by myself. An intoxicated driver. I called for a zone car to back me up. I couldn't even get a backup because all my zone cars were tied up on 3 other migrant landings. So I was almost late coming up here. But then, while I'm actually out with this person on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere, 150 yards away, no kidding, a migrant landing just occurred. 20-something migrants come out behind someone's house to the highway.
I've been to the border quite a bit. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out what you have to do. What you have to do is you have to enforce our asylum laws. You have to say we have, you say and actually have a secure border. You have to make sure fund our border patrol.
Good afternoon. With me today is Troy Miller, the acting commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Raul Ortiz, the chief of the United States Border Patrol, and Sidney Aki of CBP's Office of Field Operations and the leader of our Southwest Border Coordination Center. I'm very pleased to speak after President Biden's remarks earlier today. The Department of Homeland Security, in partnership with others, continues to prepare for the lifting of the Title 42 Public Health Order, which is currently the subject of multiple court orders requiring continued implementation. Once the Title 42 Public Health Order is no longer in place, DHS will use its longstanding Title 8 immigration enforcement authorities to process all individuals encountered at the border. Title 42 or not, the border is not open. We will continue to fully enforce our immigration laws in a safe, orderly, and humane manner. Fundamentally, we are here because our immigration system is broken, outdated, and in desperate need of reform. The laws we enforce have not been updated for decades. Effective immediately, citizens from Venezuela, Nicaragua, Cuba, and Haiti who attempt to cross our border without authorization will be swiftly expelled to Mexico, which will accept returns of 30,000 individuals per month who fail to use these new pathways or their home country. At the same time, we will welcome up to 30,000 individuals per month from these 4 countries to come safely to live and work here for 2 years. But this is important. If individuals from these countries attempt to cross the U.S. border without authorization or the Mexico or Panama borders after today, they will not be eligible for this new legal pathway.
President Biden today rolling out a long-awaited plan to try to deal with the surge in illegal crossings at the U.S.-Mexico border, opening up some new legal pathways for migrants, but with strings attached. In remarks at the White House this morning, the president announced he was expanding a program he says has successfully reduced the number of Venezuelans attempting to enter the U.S. illegally to include 3 additional countries, Cuba, Haiti, and Nicaragua. Under this new program, the administration will begin admitting up to 30,000 individuals each month from each country, as long as they apply from their home countries, have a sponsor in the U.S., and also pass a security screening. Those attempting to claim asylum at the U.S. border will be quickly returned to their home countries, the White House says. Now, this comes as the president is also announcing his plans to travel to the border himself on Sunday. He'll go to El Paso, where he'll have a chance to hear not just from local officials, but from some of the federal agents on the border about the challenges they're facing there on a daily basis. He also challenged Republicans in Congress to work with him on a longer-term plan to try to have a more comprehensive overhaul of our nation's immigration system. Now, this all comes as President Biden is also planning to travel to Mexico City next week, where he'll meet with Mexico's president as well as Canada's prime minister to try to come up with a more comprehensive international plan to deal with the root causes of this migrant surge. Mike Memoli, NBC News, outside the White House.